Hi everybody. How do you guys let me wait this long to get back to you on video? How's everyone been for the last month-ish? Are you guys surviving November? November is always crazy for me because as it comes up, as Black Friday approaches, I get like this crazy adrenaline and but also excitement, like adrenaline, anxiety, excitement, because I can feel Black Friday coming up and I know what it means. I know what I have to do. I have to shop until I'm almost dead. And it gets overwhelming because, so my addictions, I love talking to people about this because when I start to tell them about my crazy shopping addiction, they either get this horrified look on their face thinking that like I have major issues, I'm probably thousands of dollars in debt, and they look a little bit terrified. Or if they can relate to it and they do the same thing, they kind of get this like deranged look on their face of excitement and understanding, which I love. And it automatically, I actually just made a friend talking about this very subject like about a month ago. The month before Black Friday, of course. So I still have packages coming. It's been about a week and a half, I think, since Thanksgiving. It is so bad. And my addiction really is getting things in the mail and also putting things in my online shopping cart and seeing the discounts rack up. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, just put things in your cart, watch the discounts, let it sit there for a couple days, think about whether you still need it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It works maybe 20% of the time. I think I've tried all the tricks. I try to really think about what I actually love and actually want now, but so now I'm at the point where things are coming in the mail every day and it's overwhelming. And then there's this whole other element to it where I'm ordering different sizes of things at the same time, or for example, this year I wanted some tall black boots, so I ordered like 5 different pairs of black boots, and so then my account skyrockets, and then I try them all on, pick which one I want, and I return them. So that's my other thing. I return like half of the shit that I buy. So now I'm in the phase where just an overwhelming amount of things are coming in, and I'm probably going to return half of it. I've already started returning. And so it's an addiction for me, but it's overwhelming, but yeah, I guess it's my dopamine rush. And then poor Chris, the packages start building up. He's either aware of it because he brings them in when he gets home from work, or he's not aware of how many have come that day. And he's like, where did all these boxes come from? We just got rid of the boxes that were on the front porch. Now we have to get rid of these boxes. And they just pile up and pile up. I also had an incident this year where I purchased a couple of things and like the next day or a couple days later, they went down in price. So then I had to repurchase them and I have to return the pricier same version of them. So, anyways, I digress, but you guys are here on my channel, so you may be subjected to whatever I've been thinking about, and Black Friday shopping. Yeah, sometimes I'm like a little bit zoned out when I'm shopping. It's almost like I don't know, off in dreamland or something. And I end up getting the weirdest things. So for example, I bought this Fleetwood Mac sweatshirt. It's a crew neck sweatshirt. I like Fleetwood Mac. Do I like them any more than the average person? Not really, but I got it from Etsy, couldn't return it. So I wore it to work, and it is what it is. So now I own a Fleetwood Mac crew neck and some other crazy things that I definitely didn't need. So it's been about a month since I talked to you guys last. I think I try to keep you up to date on what date it's around when I do videos, in case you're not really looking at the date, or if you haven't watched the last one. Like I said, it's been about a week and a half since Thanksgiving. I think it was about a month ago that I made my last video. So last time I talked to you guys, I mentioned that I had been taking letrozole for follicle stimulation. So I took that, and I had mentioned that I was probably going to go in and get some intrauterine insemination after that happened. So that was a big disappointment. I took the letrozole. I went in to get another ultrasound about a week afterwards, and they had to do the ultrasound to check and see what my follicles were looking like. So if I had mature follicles, then they could move on with their process. And if I didn't, then unbeknownst to me, they would have to skip the IUI for that month. So when they did the ultrasound, I had a few mature follicles on the left side, which is the side that is blocked. And it turned out that I didn't have anything going on the right side. So it was really disappointing because I think what happens for me with the disappointment is I don't do well with changes like that, but it's not really a problem with flexibility. It's more like if I get an idea of what is happening in my head, then it's hard to have that be canceled or changed. So I just wish that they had expressed more to me that, it may not happen in any given month. I didn't know that. I just assumed that we would be actively doing the IUI every month. So they couldn't even do it. But now I kind of know the process of what is supposed to happen, and that makes it a little bit easier. So this last month was really hard, and if I look put together on here, it's probably because I've collected myself over some weeks, but it was really hard. I was mostly angry and crying a lot out of anger, and just bitter and resentful, and trying not to get on social media, feeling really hopeless about it. It's just, yeah, that whole change in plans when I don't expect it is just really hard for me. But moving forward, I kind of know what they're doing now. So last month, the first month, they gave me the letrozole. It comes in 2.5 milligram tabs. So they had me taking 2 tabs a day, so 5 milligrams a day for 5 days. After that, I follow up with the next week going in and getting an ultrasound, checking out how my follicles are, and then based on that, they either give me an HCG trigger shot to trigger ovulation, or if they can't because my follicles aren't cooperating, then we have to wait until next month, the next round. So this month, it did work out, luckily. So we had another baseline ultrasound the day that my period started, which is really weird, getting a transvaginal ultrasound when your period started. Did that. They checked out the lining of my uterus. I don't really understand that part. I'm not sure what they're looking for my uterus to look like, but it's just a baseline for, day 1 of my cycle. Did that. They actually planned a day this time of when I would go back. Last time they weren't completely sure which day they would have me come back, but this time they knew exactly which day they wanted me to come back. So they sent me back home after day 1 ultrasound, wrote me another prescription for letrozole. This time they bumped it up because they wanted to get that right ovary going this time. So they bumped me up to 3 tabs a day, so 7.5 milligrams a day, rather than the 2 a day. I took that for 5 days again, same thing. And then about a week later was when they had me come back in, last Wednesday. Today is Monday. So it hasn't quite been a week yet. And last Wednesday when we went in, I had 2 mature follicles on the right side, which was awesome, super exciting. And that means that potentially if they give me the HCG shot to trigger my ovulation, both of those follicles could release eggs. So possibly 2 eggs coming out, hopefully 2 eggs coming out down the right side. So that's what we did. They gave me the HCG shot last Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, Chris and I went back in and they actually did the intrauterine insemination, which was pretty much a long, syringe type thing, like a skinny turkey baster. It was pretty long, but skinny, yeah. And they put it up my cervix, and released those bad boys into my uterus. So they said that they aim for anything over 5 million, and we had 27.5 million, so that's awesome. Hopefully I had those 2 eggs coming down, plus the 27.5 million sperm count. And then they sent me home with some progesterone vaginal suppositories, which I have to put in nightly. Not a big deal. They're about the size of a pea, but kind of egg-shaped. So I do that every night until my period starts, and if it doesn't start and I end up being pregnant, then they said I will get very comfortable with them because I'll be putting them in nightly for the first 10 weeks of pregnancy. And I guess what those do is make my uterine lining more receptive, hopefully stickier, so it can reach out and snatch those eggs and hang on to them. So that's what's happening now. They gave me a lab test order for blood work for a blood pregnancy test that I'll have to go get on the 12th. So next week, I think it's a week from today, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't have a calendar in front of me. I can't think about what days or what. But hoping for the best. And again, I am getting discouraged along the way, which you guys don't really see, but I am very thankful for the help. I'm glad that they were able to control it like that. It's amazing that they can do an HCG trigger shot, and I'm so glad that I had 2 mature follicles. Hopefully we can, they said they would get to know my cycle better and better as time goes on, so hopefully next time will be even better. If there is the next time, I'm not getting too excited or too down about it. I'm just going with the flow because that's what I have to do. And I think that is about everything that's happened. I think Chris and I had talked about doing this for a couple of rounds. I think we may do it until January and February or so. I turned 35 in March, so that's kind of a timeline thing for me. I'm getting a little bit nervous about that. So I don't think we're gonna spend too long on IUI before we ask them if we can do some IVF, which would be more successful. But as it is right now, I'm not gonna tell you guys exact costs of everything, but I can tell you that everything that we have done so far, and that includes my surgery, my 2 HSG x-rays that they did where they diagnosed this, all the medications, the transvaginal ultrasounds, which I've told you guys I've had multiple. I've had like 4 or 5 now. The office visits, all of those things together, the cost for everything has been about 1/5 of the cost of IVF. So it is significantly cheaper, and that part is very nice. So we'll hope for the best on this, and if not, at least they're getting to know my cycle better. And that's all I've got. I always say that I'm gonna let you guys know what happens in a week or 2, but I never do, so who knows when I'm gonna do another video. But hope for the best for me on December 12th when I take a blood pregnancy test. I hope it works. This journey is really draining, and very hard to stay optimistic all the time. So hope you guys have a good December. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful time, and I will give you updates as I hear them.